Hi crypto fans, welcome to CCS Cryptocurrency State. My name is Santiago, I'm a web developer and investor, and in today's video we are going to do some technical analysis on Bitcoin. We are going to see the bulls versus the bears. We are going to check the Bitcoin monthly candle chart, and I will give you a comparison table against the weekly time frame and the daily time frame. Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get the notifications. And without anything else, let's go into it. Hey guys, first of all I want to give you this monthly candle chart. There are some things to check here, and it's always better to get the big picture of all the crypto market. In this case, of course, Bitcoin is leading everything. So one thing that I am seeing here now is a bearish, maybe bearish indicator, and that is the possible MACD here in a couple of weeks, maybe crossing bearish. And the thing with that is that if we see the history of that in the last, what we could say, bull run or semi-bull run of 2019, we are going to see that, of course, the MACD is a lagging indicator, so always you will have the cross after the momentum is already changed. So in this case, you need to see this. For 2018, after we hit the all-time high here, then we have the cross around this date, April 2018, and from there it was a catastrophic downtrend. The same happened with this mini bull run that we have in 2019. We have the cross actually 3 months after we hit the peak there. So always is 3 or 4 more after in this big time frame. Right now you can see that we are at this situation that we could have in 1 or 2 months a bearish cross on the MACD. And this has been in the past, like you see, a very important indication of a continuation of bear market. So it will not tell us that we are starting a bear market, but it will confirm that we are in a bear market. So right now, maybe we are already starting a bear market without knowing it, because we are waiting for more indications of that. But this big picture, this chart actually in a couple of months, it will for sure tell you if you are inside a bear market or not. Of course, we want to have this information before the monthly candle, and that is why we work with the weekly and the daily. But if we have a cross on this MACD monthly candle, then we could say that we are going to have a couple of more months of bearishness, like happened in the past. And also guys, seeing that on that way, you can say that we already hit the peak of this bull run here in May 2021. Even if we have a new all-time high 1 month ago, maybe this was the top of this trend at this point, and maybe we are even heading into a bear market. So a bear market possibility for the first half of 2022 is still possible. We need to really make efforts on the daily and in the weekly chart to reverse this trend, because if not, we are going to head into a January and February 2022 entering already into a bear market. And another indicator mentioning bearishness in the monthly is the stochastic RSI that crossed bullish here, but we are already crossing bearish again. So you can see the confirmation of this bearish cross. So we hope this reverse again, and this has been a fake out cross, because if not, from this 24 we can go lower here again into these down levels of previous bear markets, and that will also confirm the possible cross on the MACD on monthly candles, and that will be of course a bearish trend like we have right here. The stochastic RSI on the bottom line and the MACD already crossing. So right now we are heading into that direction. If you want to make money while you're holding your crypto, then I recommend you to use an automation platform. This is bitscap.com, where you can trade with bots automatically while you're holding your crypto. I did 2 videos 2 months ago on how to configure Bitscap and how to configure everything for your bots. So in that video I explained in almost 30 minutes how to configure each thing of the platform, and with this video you will be able to start trading with about 24 hours. Even if you are sleeping, you will be making money with this, and this works really good also in the downtrend. So right now it's a very good opportunity to use this platform. If you go and register with my affiliate link, you help the channel, but you also get 2 weeks free of this platform with a premium account. The premium account costs $150, so you will have it free for 2 weeks, so you can test it and see how it works. If we go to the weekly chart, things that I have been mentioned on last TA analysis, 21 weekly moving average and the 50 weekly moving average, this should be acting as support. Like even happened here when we break the 21, we had support on the 50, but right now we are crossing that below. So in our current week, we probably need to recover the 50 quickly. If not, that will act as extreme resistance, and from there we could have a fake out from testing the 50 or the 21 and go for lower positions here. So one thing to really understand is that the downtrend that we have here, even if we are right now at lower highs in the weekly and we are in an uptrend on this weekly chart from July, it's not that this downtrend is the same that happened from May to June, because at that point we held the support of the 50. Right now the chart is different than this downtrend. So even if we didn't went into $30,000, that doesn't mean that this situation is less worse than it was here. Actually, breaking the 50 is super bearish right now. And if we don't come back in this week above the 50, then that would be really bad news, because we can go to 42 super quickly into 40, and then the next super trend here to test is 29 at the 100 weekly moving average, which is a super bearish situation. You only are here in a bear market. So I don't want to show you this time all the charts that I have been checking. I will give you a summary of what I see on this perspective, on some indicators and some technical analysis things. And you tell me please in the comments if you like this kind of spreadsheets that I do for the TA. This is the first time that I am doing this, so let me know in the comments if this was helpful or you prefer that I go into all this in the chart. But basically I put here the weekly time frame, daily time frame. Like I say, breaking down the 21 is bearish, breaking the 50 is super bearish. So these two are the ones that we are seeing in the weekly. In the daily, we also break the 200 moving average. I didn't show that in the chart, but already happened. So breaking the 50 moving average on the daily time frame is bearish, the 100 is bearish, but breaking the 200 is super bearish. We actually never break this moving average if it's not for a bear market. So the history tells us that this is super danger, and this could lead to a bear market. Then the RSI in both cases is neutral because it's at 30 or 50, but there's no really signs of bullishness or bearishness for the RSI. In the stochastic RSI for the weekly time frame, we are a little bullish, but just because, like you can see here, we are entering into the low part. Actually, we have been in a downtrend from the stochastic RSI, but right now it's neutral because it's already hitting to the low part below 20. So from here we need to expect a cross to the bullish side, which is crossing the blue one above the red above 20. But that necessarily needs to happen. We could see something like happen here in May and July, where we were almost 3 months below the 20, having crosses and fake outs below that level. That also could happen here, and that will trigger more bearishness into the market. That is a really possible scenario. Right now, my expectation is that we are going to test $42,000 possible. So stochastic RSI slightly bullish only because we are in the lower part, but actually it's neutral. in the daily time frame is slightly bearish because we are in the stochastic RSI on the upper side. Like you can see here, we are here at 63 crossing bearish, so we are in higher places crossing bearish. So this is a slightly bearish because we didn't cross it so far above. Money flow index is neutral in both cases, and this is where the things came a little interesting. And this is the way that you can see that some lower time frame starts to change the trend against a major time frame. So the MACD just crossed bullish for the daily time frame, actually 2-3 days ago. So it's clearly bullish, but in the weekly time frame we are still super bearish on the MACD. So when you have some bullish indicators on the daily time frame, for example, that could mean that the trend is going to the opposite side, and then if that trend continue, then can modify a more bigger time frame. So having these bullish scenarios in a lower time frame against a major time frame means that maybe a trend to the opposite side could be starting. And right now we don't have too many of those. So even if the MACD is bullish on the daily time frame, I am not bullish in the daily time frame for sure, because most things are neutral or bearish, but it's a good sign anyways. The exponential rebound for the daily time frame is super bearish because we are super below the exponential rebound, but for the weekly time frame it's acting as support yet. It is sequential bearish in both cases. Alligator, super bearish, we are below the alligator in the daily, and it's slightly bearish on the weekly time frame. Still didn't cross it all the lines, but it's starting to be bearish. And then we have another good indicator on the daily time frame. This is something that many YouTubers commented today, which is an RSI bullish divergence. I will share that here. Before we continue with the video, remember that I am doing an amazing giveaway. I will be giving half of a Bitcoin to one winner and 5 Ethereum to 5 different winners. If you want to participate, it's super easy, just a couple of clicks. Follow the link in the description. But remember that you need to be subscribed to the channel with the bell on to be considered. So that bullish divergence can be seen here. From December 10, we have been creating higher highs on the RSI, but in the price action for the 10th of December, we have been going down. So the price is going down, but the RSI is actually going up. This is a bullish pattern, which is a bullish RSI divergence in this case. You can have divergence bullish or bearish in another indicators also, but in this case with the RSI is really significant. We have the opposite here when we get these highs. You can see that we have here a high and a higher high, but in the RSI we have a high and a lower high. This is an opposite. This is a bearish divergence. So from here we went directly down. Of course, this time frame is more significant than this time frame, but actually this could be one really good sign of a reversal for the daily candle. Then the Gaussian channel is supporting in the weekly, but we are below in a daily time frame. Usually when we are below the Gaussian channel in the daily time frame, we are going to stay there at least for from 1 to 3 or 4 months. So this is actually super bearish. On the 4 exponential moving averages are crossing bearish already for the daily candles, so this is not good neither. So you can see here in the weekly time frame we are mostly bearish. We don't have signs of bullishness. And in the daily candles we are starting to see a couple of indicators assuming there that could be bullishness. So how this is going to play out? Well, for now we need still to see the confirmation in the MACD. What happened? We don't need to cross bearish again. We don't want to change this MACD indicator in a couple of days to turn bearish, so that is important to continue bullish. And we need to check another things that turn bullish. Still, these two things are not so much significance in the whole scheme of the daily time frame or weekly time frame. But it's a good sign that we are starting to see some bullishness on the daily time frame. This doesn't mean that maybe tomorrow we are at 49 or 50, that could happen, and still these indicators could be bearish. We need more times and see what happened here. So for summarize, I am still kind of bearish in the general panorama of the crypto and Bitcoin in general. I could say that maybe this MACD and this RSI bullish divergence could trigger an up for $50,000, and all the people will say, well, we are back. But maybe that could be just the testing of the 21 or the 50 weekly moving average, and from there we can continue the downtrend. So even if we go to 50, I will not be sure that we are entering into a bullish area. So to be bullish, I still need to turn all these daily indicators into more bullishness and start to see slightly bullish trends on the weekly. That will not happen from one day to another, of course. You need weeks to that to happen. But this is the panorama right now. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of spreadsheet here to see clearly what is the situation on the weekly and the daily, and tell me if you want to cover more small time frame candles, the 4 hour or the 1 hour. Right now in the 4 hour we are clearly in a descending channel, which is a bullish pattern, but we are still inside that, so this could turn bearish or bullish. Both scenarios are possible. Usually it's a very bullish pattern, 69% of chances to be bullish, but again, how everything is, I am not checking too much the 4 hour. But let me know in the comment section if you want me to cover small time frames. And well guys, that is all for this video. Remember, before we leave, like the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get the notifications, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video. Bye.